to the Franchise Growth Show, where we do not just talk scale, we talk transferability. I'm Joe Carter, the founder of the Twin Flame Group and partner with the Franchise Consulting Company. I've built, scaled, and sold multiple companies, including franchises, as well as worked inside of private equity, doing due diligence on over $14 billion worth of deals. I know what makes buyers chase and what makes them walk. And today's guest, he's turning a gritty logistics background into a mobile fueling empire. Korey McDavid is the president and founder of Juice Fuel, and he is here to break down how he took a real-world energy operations playbook and turned it into a franchise model that's scaling fast and smart. But first, shout out to our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by DFW Pierce Bespoke, the go-to clothier for founders and executives who want to look as sharp as they think. You built the business, now build the look. Pierce Bespoke will craft custom pieces for founders who know that presence is a part of performance. But let's dive right into it. First and foremost, Korey, thank you so much for being on.
Appreciate you having me, Joe.
Yeah, man. Let's dive into it. So for those out there who don't know Juice Fuel, give us like the 60-second elevator pitch type version. What's the mission and who do you serve?
Yeah. So Juice Fuel is your personal mobile fuel delivery service. So think DoorDash for gasoline. In today's world, everything's getting delivered, right? And we're delivering convenience and safety one tank at a time. That's what we do.
I love that. One tank at a time. And I couldn't agree more that the whole DoorDash for gasoline thing, that's like, you should have that on a t-shirt if you don't already. Let's rewind. What was that moment when you knew this was more than just an idea and a clever one at that, but it was a scalable brand?
Yeah, so I was managing a bulk liquids terminal here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I saw so my customers were the fuel suppliers, and their customers were the gas stations, and I could see that if you were moving a ton of fuel, there were people that would bring it to you, but if you're a small to mid-sized fleet or boat owner or particularly like individuals, you're on your own. You got to go get it yourself. Either at a gas station or using some sort of fleet card program. And so there just seemed to be a big gap between what you can get delivered and what was currently being offered. And so you started Juice Fuel to fill that gap. And I knew it had legs when I started servicing, strangers, and I was having zero churn in my customer base. That's when I was like, okay, we're onto something here. Let's double down on what we're doing.
I love it. Zero customer churn. You can't beat that. And I know personally, I've used a similar service before you guys launched. This was years ago in my landscaping company where we had people come and fill up our, lawnmowers and our trucks and everything on site. So our guys didn't have to do it the next morning. They just go immediately to the job site. So obviously there's a need for this and a great demand, certainly, as you have forecasted and already created. So fantastic job to you.
I won't hold that against you that you didn't use us.
Well, you weren't available at the time. I just want to put a caveat on it, or I probably would have, because your brand does, in my personal opinion, better than that other company that we did. We didn't like. A lot of founders out there come from like sales or an operational background, but energy and logistics, that's typically a different beast. So how did your experience in the past shape how you built the Juice Fuel model?
So I think the main thing it did was I'm not scared of the regulation and the permitting hurdles that you have to go through when you're delivering hazardous materials. Um, it's something that I'd been doing for over a decade, and so that gives me the comfort level to go and get the appropriate permits and have these conversations with fire marshals and with Coast Guard officials to make sure we're operating compliantly. Um, and and that is really why this is a sweet spot in the franchising space, because what we're doing is very simple and repeatable, right? Everyone knows how to drive, everyone knows how to pump gas. but it's scary enough that they need some help to do it, right? And that's where we come in, and we make sure that, one, you're insured properly, two, you've got all the licenses, permits, and regulations covered to operate compliantly.
I love that. And thank you for pivoting from just a company that you're running to the franchise, because that's exactly where I wanted to go next. Turning a model, a company that's successful into a franchise brand is a whole separate leap. So what made you say, yeah, this is the path forward. We got a franchise.
Yeah, it was really customer demand, right? I didn't know anything about franchising. I knew how to run our business, and uh, but through our marketing efforts and the virality that has come through our social media pages, shout out to my wife who runs those and just crushing it on the marketing side. We were receiving hundreds of inquiries about, do we franchise? When are we going to franchise? And so when that got over like 500, we looked at each other, like, we better figure out how to franchise this business. And so, did we know that that's the path to go? No, but people were asking for it, and so that's where we're at now. And I think the right answer is a blend of both. I mean, we're still running our corporate location, and we're looking to expand corporately while also expanding through franchising. So.
I love that. I love the fact that you're doubling down on franchising, but you're also doubling down on the corporate side footprint, because a lot of brands will do one or the other, but not both very well. And y'all are doing both very well. Shout out to the wife for doing all the social stuff. If you haven't checked them out, go check out their Instagram. It's pretty sweet. Like, they got some amazing videos, and I'll put the link in the commentary so you can go check it out when you have time. Pivoting back to kind of the early days, I know you mentioned like zero customer churn. That's certainly an early win, but what were some other early wins, or maybe even some early like learning moments, for lack of a better way of putting it, that taught you what works and ultimately what doesn't?
I lost you for a second. Someone was calling me. Can you repeat that question?
For sure.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. What were some of those early wins and maybe even early learning moments, aka failures, that taught you what works and what doesn't work?
Yeah, so we had a number of challenges from the get go, from everything from equipment to um, paying agencies that just weren't really generating any return on investment from the marketing side, and so the the first big win was definitely when we got that first customer that wasn't a friend or family, right? We're like, oh my god, how did they find out about us? And then they keep coming back, right? That's the first win. um, but each time we hit one of these hurdles that could have you know been a reason to shut down, then we were able to persevere through them. It was just proof that we were the right people to be operating this business. We're on our fourth developer on our app. I was going through an incubator early on to kind of guide me through starting up a business. They closed down and declared bankruptcy, like, and they were supposed to be providing guidance to us. Um, my equipment came and didn't fit in the bed of the truck. It wasn't what to the specs that I had ordered. Like any one of these things, so early on in a business that we were bootstrapping, and I was still working a corporate job. Any one of these things could have been a reason for us to shut down. But, really, our customers and the support and loyalty that they've shown to us has always been what drives us. So figuring out how to work through these problems has always been, a big win. So.
Yeah, I got to give you kudos for that. I didn't know about the whole bankruptcy thing, but certainly to your point, there's plenty of challenges we all face when we're trying to start a company. And the thing that I love about you and your team is that y'all have persevered, using your terminology, with an indomitable spirit that just makes you want to find a way to forward and find a way through the issue, learn from it, and become better as a result of it. So I love that. Um, Out there, I know this firsthand. There's an awful lot of franchise concepts out there, but mobile fueling, not very many, if any at all, other than you. And so, in my opinion, that goes back to something that I did an MBA study on back in the day, and that's a blue ocean strategy. Not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's creating something that's a brand new demand. I believe that's what you guys are doing. So,
Yep.
what makes Juice Fuel stand out in today's franchise landscape?
Yeah, so I think branding is huge. It's often overlooked in this particular business. What we're doing, there's nothing proprietary about it, right? If you've got a truck, you can go deliver fuel to someone. But um, one, doing it compliantly, two, being insured properly, and three, having a brand that people give a crap about is really important. And so from day one, we have documented our journey, right? You can see those struggles we were talking about. If you scroll back in our social media posts, we talk about them. You can see the wins. You can see how we've grown. You can see how the team members that we've added. You can see our new franchise locations and how we're excited about them getting open and really keeping that cohesive brand message. It's like family first, whether that's your franchisees or your customers, right? We treat everyone like family. We're a family run business. And that is huge in what we do. And so anytime I'm vetting a future franchisee, those are the type of things that we're looking for. Is like someone who's involved in their community, someone who has a family. Maybe they want to do business with their family, right? I love working with my wife, and we seem to like hit a niche in that we have a lot of husband and wife partners that come to us and want to replicate what we're doing, and so that's really important to us, and I think that's how we distinguish ourselves is by putting our franchisees first. They're our partners every bit as our customers are. So
I love that. I also love the fact that it's a husband wife family ran organization. My wife and I have a company that we run together, and I couldn't agree with you more. That when you're locked in step with somebody that you're with pretty much 24 hours a day, by the time you add the marriage with the business in there, that creates a marriage where you have the capacity to do that indomitable spirit and that perseverance stuff that we referenced earlier. So that's awesome. In reference to the franchisee, since you brought that up, like you touched on a couple of things that you look for in terms of an ideal candidate, but if you can paint a broader picture for us, what are the traits that make someone thrive inside of your model?
I'm looking for someone who is thinking big, right? We are an emerging brand. We want to plant juice fuel flags in as many markets as quickly as possible as we can. You mentioned blue ocean strategy earlier. It's not always going to be a blue ocean, right? And so we want to make sure we're in as many places as possible. The interesting thing about selling a commodity like fuel is that we all have to buy our fuel from the same spot when you're buying fuel in a market, right? And so you can't really compete on price. That's only a short-term strategy, so you're competing on service. So if you can find the right operators who are giving the same customer service that we've been known for here in Charleston and their local markets, there's no appetite for someone to want to come in and try to compete with that. Finding those operators who are thinking big, this isn't a one truck operation, two truck operation. You should be thinking about, here's my current territory. I want to grow this, but what's the next territory? If you're already thinking about your growth strategy and you're thinking about operating the business not as a passive investor, those are the two primary things that I'm looking for. Thinking big and being an operator.
I love it. Think big and then go execute. Let's get her did, right? We like numbers on this particular show. Obviously, there is some stuff that we can disclose and some stuff that we cannot until somebody signs an NDA. But as much as we can, talk to me about the market opportunity. How big is the space? Where's the demand coming from? Is this commercial clients? Is this residential clients? Is there some level of mixture in that? What's kind of that territory look like?
Yeah, so a territory is defined by us is about 300,000 people. Is that's what we want to see. You're able to at least have that many people within a serviceable driving distance. So I know there's demand for rural, farmers. They use diesel and stuff, but it's just not going to be enough volume for what we're trying to do. So we're looking for 300 to 500,000 people within say a 30-mile radius, and that would be a territory. Regarding opportunity size, what is really exciting about this particular space is the retail fuel spend has been about $500 billion across the country for the past decade. It doesn't change very much. It goes up and down based on what the cost of fuel is, but it hovers around 500 billion. But if you look at the on-site fuel delivery, direct to equipment fueling that we're doing as a percentage of that $500 billion market, that chart is up and to the right. And so as this becomes a bigger percentage of the retail spend, Juice Fuel wants to capture as much of that transition as possible. Um, so just think about from like a municipality standpoint, it's getting harder and harder to get new gas stations permitted, or if you're a construction site, like getting on-site tanks dropped, or if you have a big fleet, getting approved to put on-site tanks on your yard. That is all becoming harder and harder, but you still need to be serviced with fuel, and so we're filling that need. And so as that transition is happening, um, you know Juice Fuel's gonna be here for the takeover. So
Yeah, I love it, man. For market penetration rate, let's go. I love it. I love it. It's great. Transitioning to maybe kind of the unsexy stuff, the systems. What's one piece of technology or backend operations that's been a game changer for scale for you guys?
yeah, so the traditional way of dispatching and routing and of last mile delivery company. Yeah, we deliver fuel, but you plug in any sort of last mile logistics, right? Like you have to have someone who's dispatching, someone who's routing, someone's got to reconcile those invoices at the end of the day. But we've built a proprietary app that allows the drivers to do all of that. So it allows you as a franchisee to you find good drivers, like they handle their own dispatching, they handle their own invoices, they close them out on site, you get paid immediately. All that is done so you can run a very lean operation. So you as a business owner are focusing on getting new customers, making sure your drivers are delivering to those customers. We have the systems and infrastructure in place to support everything else that you need to run your business.
I love it. Proprietary tech stack is like a game changer in the franchising space, and they got it. So that's amazing. Territory availability. Are there any territories that are currently sold out and unavailable, or are we pretty well wide open to any of the clients that we got out there nationwide?
We're still pretty widely available. We just started franchising middle of last year, but unless you're looking for Nebraska or Iowa, those are off the market.
All
Never would
right.
have thought that those would be the first ones to go, but here we are. So
There you go. Well, I mean, that you wouldn't have thought that, but now that I'm thinking on it for a second, that kind of does make sense based on what I know about Nebraska and
yeah,
Iowa. So, in the 48 continental, take two of them off. We got 46 states available and plenty of territories within each state. So, clients out there that I know nationwide, this is the brand we need to talk about. I've been telling y'all to wait until today to listen to this thing so you can hear it directly from Korey. But now it's time to pull the trigger before these things sell out. Kind of final tactical question, at least from me. What do you wish that you knew back when, before launching that franchise arm? What's something you wish you knew if you could go backwards in time?
I think this is definitely more of a tactical piece, but like the actual mechanics of like closing a franchise deal. I remember having a franchisee who wanted to buy a territory, and I'm like, okay. now what? Like, what do I do now? How do I get him to actually close on a franchise and do it compliantly in the right way? And so, um, making sure that I knew how to do that, because I really think we probably squandered a lot of our early leads, not knowing exactly what we were doing. Um, but I think that's the case with anything, right? Like you got to jump in and kind of figure it out as you go. We've ironed out a lot of that. We've ironed out a lot of the vetting process, and so we've got a pretty streamlined system now to get you into our system, and you know we can really get you from basically lead to open within 120 days. That's the goal.
That's pretty fast in the franchise space. I can vouch for that one. That's a very quick turnaround time, and that proves that the vetting process has been streamlined substantially. So, Korey, this has been gold in my opinion. You mentioned that you want to fill your pipeline. And I want to help you do that. So, if we have people out there that's listening and they want to learn more, or they want to get into that pipeline and check territory availability or move along in the process, how do they reach out to you and your team?
Juicefuel.com is the easiest place. Click on franchising. There's an inquiry tab there. That's where you're going to start. If you call me and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about franchising," I'm going to say, "Go to the website and submit an inquiry." That's where the process begins. Certainly, check us out on Instagram. Check out our videos on YouTube. You can see everything we're doing there. Give us a follow, and we look forward to uh, being in touch with y'all.
Love it. And I will make sure all those links are included in the commentary, everybody. So just scroll down. You won't have to go search for it and hope you find the right place. I'll make sure that you get directionally sit there so that you can get the form filled out and get in their pipeline for sure. Somebody else takes the territory that you want. Korey, this was a powerhouse inside, in my opinion. You are not just delivering fuel. You're building a strategic, scalable asset in a category that most people overlook, aka it's blue ocean right now. So to everybody out there listening, if the idea of on-demand, low competition, high need service businesses excite you, this is one that you need to go study. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to give you more insight. We can connect you with Korey's team, or you can just go in and fill out the form utilizing the link in the commentary. Also, if you're serious about building a business that buyers will actually want to fight over, check out my live webinar next week, the 18-play exit readiness framework. I'll include that link in the commentary as well. So, for everybody out there, I want to first and foremost say thank you so much, Korey, for taking time out of your day. You're a busy guy, building a brand that's going to last and creating a legacy. So I appreciate you taking time for myself and our listeners.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and get juiced.
Let's go get juiced, y'all. Thank you all so much. Until next time, let's keep building with strategy, not just with scale. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye. Boom!